Greetings, this is your host, Mysterious Mystery, and today I'm going to be doing my Wonder Woman review. Now, Wonder Woman, I saw the Thursday night showing, and honestly, I was planning on doing the review the day after, but just like most of my plans, they kind of fell to pieces. And one thing or another kept popping up, and I kept having to push it back, and I even considered not doing it, but then I realized, well, I did the Guardians of the Galaxy movie review, and I liked this more than Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked it more than Guardians of the Galaxy, but obviously less than Logan. Logan, perfect piece of art. So, I'm going to break down themes, characters, trivia, and questions I have for the film. Now, themes the main theme I enjoy in this film is a gray world. Now, when we start out, we're in Themyscira with a very young Diana. I can't remember the actress who does it, but she does a pretty good job. She does a pretty good job. So, Themyscira is this idealistic paradise. No suffering, everyone has a job. It's perfect. But once she leaves and goes to England, and it does a very interesting transition. It's like Themyscira at day, then at night, then like the sea at night, then morning in the regular world. And Steve Trevor says, "Welcome to jolly old England," and Wonder Woman says, "It's disgusting," or "It looks terrible," or "It looks horrible." Regardless, you can instantly tell the contrast from Themyscira, which they use very bright colors. It's always sunny there, except for even when it's depicted at night, it's depicted cleaner. And from the rest of the world. And oh yes, and unlike having a magical barrier in the comics, which no one can really enter, it seems like if you even pass through it by accident, you're good to go, and you can just sail through it. So I guess it must be in a part of the world that's not that people don't sail through a lot. Somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, I think, because Ottoman soldiers were able to chase them there. Well, not Ottoman soldiers, German soldiers. Yeah, so I guess they had somewhere in the... it's somewhere. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to try to figure that out right now. And the other theme is love. Like, how Diana's like... how Steve Trevor's like, okay, this is the world I live in. It's like, but when Diana's walking down the street, every little thing was amazing to her. He's like, oh, a baby. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, ice cream. It's amazing. And like, it's like it's like a child looking at the world for the first time. Everything's amazing. Everything's this. Everything's that. And like, she like kind of loves it all, and like thinks, okay, these are the people that are good, and like that, yeah, these are good people. They deserve love, respect, and etc. But she later finds out that people have and she sums it up pretty good at the end of the film, that people have the potential for good and evil in them. Which I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good note to end on. Now, Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman, she did very good, although she wasn't as seasoned as an actress as the other actors and actresses. It shows in a few spots, but not enough to really ruin the film. Now, Steve Trevor, Chris Pratt, I almost forgot his name for a minute. He does his role really well. A spy, kind of man of action type of deal, like the first flashback of him going to the German facility and stealing that formula or notebook with the formulas in them, and like it shows him like bombing it. I was like, that's a perfect man of action scene. That's the first thing that kind of came to my mind. I was like, oh wow, man of action. It's like, that's a great man of action scene. So yeah, I really liked his intro, and like how he's depicted throughout. Like his higher ups don't really treat him with respect. They think he's kind of disposable, Like, they were more surprised he was alive than relieved. Thinking, I suppose you could say that for a lot of soldiers. But I guess he's a spy. But it's the same. Tomato, tomato. Anyway, so like how he's like wants to do the right thing, but he knows he can't just always do the right thing. He understands the complexity of the world, which Wonder Woman is just learning about. Now, Hippolyta, I kind of get her thinking in this, but I kind of don't. She wanted to hide from the fact that Diana was a demigod from her. And, like, Diana never knew. She just thought she thought she was just only child and, like, blessed and all that. And I don't know why no one thought of saying, hey, how about, I don't know, it was like, when her mother said, oh, it's the right of, was showing her the weapons and said, only the God Killer sword, she was showing her that. He said only the most fiercest among us could even wield it. And he said, and you're not that. And later she even told her to her face, like, you're not an Amazon though, when they're trying to do what they were trying to decide to do with Steve Trevor. I don't know the actress who plays her, but she does a good job in the scene she has, and she's only there in the early on part of the film. Now her sister, Hippolyta, I think? Hippolyta? I don't know, it's Greek and I'm not great at that. Pronouncing's not my strong suit, accent and my speech teachers. But she does a good job. I at first thought she was actually Ares, but she was, not Ares, Artemis. I thought she was Artemis because in the comics I've seen sometimes Artemis and Wonder Woman train, or like Artemis trained her and then quickly outpaced her, or one thing or another. So, yeah. And like, but she's like Hippolyta's sister, and she's also this great warrior. And she pretty much leads the army while her sister leads the people. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So not every Amazon is a fighter. That's pretty cool, I thought. So, and speaking of Artemis, I like that black woman who looks like she could go head to head with John Cena and beat the crap out of him. Like, it's a scene where like she was like on that table thing and they were like trying to knock her down, then our person just hit her and that thing just bounced this like with a staff, and like it just kind of bounced off her, and then she just like threw the person off. I was like, okay, that's a perfect scene. And when the Germans invaded the beach, I was really glad she didn't die. Which brings up a couple questions. I was always under the impression Amazons were bulletproof, like all Amazons. But it turns out only Diana is? Because like, Hippolyta's sister goes down with one shot, and so do most of the others. So I was a little confused by that. But I guess that's just I guess you can't have an island full of mortals that can't be hurt. That I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, oh yeah, another thing I want to touch upon is after Wonder Woman's like beat Hippolyta's sister, and like she created that huge shockwave, and everyone's looking at her scared, and she kind of ran off. I kind of wish they did like a passage of time, like maybe a year or a couple months passed, or a month or a week, hell, even. Then like she sees Steve Trevor's plane, but it's like that moment she runs away, it's like the plane. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, that's whatever. Okay, now, for Wonder Woman's posse, other than Steve Trevor, I've told you my thoughts on him. Samir, Charlie, and Chief Napi. Now, I'm really curious about Chief, but I'll get into him in a moment. There we are. First off, I want to go over Samir. Samir is also a character in the Blackhawks who fights in World War II, so if they do something with World War II, we might see him. That would be actually interesting, because like he's an actor who knows how to talk his way out of most situations, and like he says how the war prevents him from being an actor. It's like I can't be an actor because the war's going on and no one would like hire me any because like the war's going on and no one's really concerned about the shows. Everyone's concerned about, you know, the war. It's like World War One. A lot of people gloss over how vicious that war was. Yes, World War Two was also very terrible, but it's like World War One, people were being gassed, like entire villages were wiped out. It was a mess. I'm curious to cover it on my channel, but I feel like I have to do a lot of research to do it, or a lot more research, because World War One is one of my more favorite topics. But like I would have to do a lot more research to do it justice. Now, Charlie, they kind of leave his thing loose-ended. It's like he has PTSD. Wait, is that right? Yeah, post-traumatic stress. Yeah, PTSD, and like he's an alcoholic. So most of the time he's drinking, and he's a sniper. So like he views the fact that if he can't see the faces, it's for the best. And like they kind of touch upon it here and there, like when he's dreaming, it's like screaming and like freaking out, but they never really explore it. And like apparently he, like the moment he's saying is like that's the first time he ever sung in years. So I guess that was like them winning. It was an awesome fight. It was a good day. Like I'm gonna like take a quick tangent before I cover Chief Napi. Napi? Yeah, Napi. That's how it's pronounced. That the scene, the trenches. That's what I want to say. When she walks into no man's land, that was amazing. I have to say that. It was like her walking up. It's like I'm no man, and it's like her seeing all the suffering. Like the people in this village are being suffering. She's seeing all these things like happening, and like everyone's like pushing her along. It's like wait, but I can help these guys. Just give me a minute. It's like we don't have time. If you want to get like to where you want to go. And she says, but then like after that woman's like says the people in her village are pretty much being enslaved by the soldiers, she's like said enough's enough. So she puts on her crown, which is like I suppose like the Amazon equivalent of a helmet. A warband? No, I don't think that's right. Whatever. It's like her headband thing, which belonged to her aunt. Yeah. So she then walks in no man's land. It's like she does a very good job, but like I like how it's like done. Like she goes like pretty close to gets pretty close to the soldiers, knocks away mortar fire, stops bullets, and then pretty much like a Gatling gun pins her down, and like she can't do this alone. But then like Steve, Trevor, and like the others like rally the other soldiers, and they're able to pretty much flank the Germans and like take the trench. And then she like goes into town, and they're like trying to stop her with no effectiveness. When I say try to stop her, I mean like they're just trying to stop intruders. They don't know who she is. So there's firing at her, and like she's like knocking the bullets out of the way, blocking with her shield. Then like she goes in there with her sword, destroys like entire buildings at a time, like going into the buildings, wrecking the soldiers, throwing them out of windows, kicking them, punching them, tossing them across the room. It's a very well choreographed scene. And I feel like that, like I know Patty Jenkins. I may be saying the director's name wrong, or heck, I might be thinking of someone else. I think it's Patty Jenkins directs this, and like, but Zack Snyder was a producer. The thing with Zack Snyder is his movies are hit or miss, but his fight scenes are pretty much spot on. So back to Chief Napa. I found out like 2 days ago, which I was very interested, which heck, this even sparked, and I was like, okay, that's it, I'm not pushing this off for any longer than I have to. That he is a Native American demigod. Now, what does this mean? I don't know yet, but I'm very he's in the tribe he's affiliated with, which is the Blackfoot. He's like a trickster, a creator god, a cultural hero, transformer. Transformer, Shapeshifter. Why did I say Transformer? I want to see that movie though. But he's a demigod himself, and he I was like, oh, that kind of does make sense. Like when when they were running through the forest and Steve Trevor was telling them about Themyscira, he was the first person to believe it was true. And like when they were in the forest, he was the first person to grab, well, I suppose, come up with a solid plan. Like, I'm not sure where that car came from, because like it's found out later that there was an entire line of cars backed up. I was like, so did he like knock down a tree and like rob, like, were the people driving ahead and knocked down a tree, then like he threw them out of their cars and took it? Or was it just a car he made, or was it actually just a car he found? Now I'm curious, but I digress. So what does this mean for demigods in other mythologies? Like, are there Aztec demigods? Like, because we know the Greek gods died, but like the thing with gods in DC is like gods are reborn after a certain point once they die, so they're reborn as babies. And yeah, in the comics, I think a few years ago, that something like that happened to Zeus, where he was renamed Zeke. He was born in a human mother, so I thought that was cool. And I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, Darkseid died, and pretty much his daughter, no, not his daughter, his daughter is raising him. But I was about to say she gave birth to him. I was like, no, that's not right. But she is raising him. So that's pretty interesting. Now, Etta Candy, she's pretty funny. Like, when Diana is talking to her, he's like, well, how am I supposed to fight in this strategy? He's like, oh, fight? We're not supposed to fight. We're supposed to win with our ethics. He's like, but should the occasion rise, I'm not too strange. He's like, I'm not a stranger to fisticuffs. I was like laughing at that scene when she said that. I don't know why, it was just so funny to me. Artemis. Oh wait, alright. Sorry, I have a list in front of me of characters to go down. I already mentioned her and how I thought she was awesome. Well, awesomely portrayed. Like, Artemis is pretty much like top warrior besides Hippolyta, and I guess in the movie her Anton. Like, the only person who keeps being her is Wonder Woman, so I guess her being portrayed by a woman as MMA fighter or boxer. Not 100% sure what she does. Can't remember her name either. I'm sorry about that. Ares. Ares, I'm going to talk about his twist later. But like, I really enjoyed how like he went from charming lord to kind of what's called shifting being to full-blown god, and like in a very subtle but controlled manner. So, and Dr. Poison. Now, I would talk about what's his name, Commander Lufendorf, but I'm not very interested in him. He was a red herring, and I don't care for those type of characters. Dr. Poison, though, I'm curious. Did she actually come up with that formula for that god gas type of stuff, or did Ares give it to her the second he saw Diana? Because he says he whispers it to their ears, like he's never been at full strength ever since he got injured. Like, he drops these little subtle hints there that's like make his character, when you look back, he's like, oh, I should have figured that out, but I didn't at the time. Anyway, what was I going for? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention a few things about Chief Nipa. No, not P. Not P. The way he does is like, he says his people stole, when he pointed at Steve Trevor, he's like, his people stole my land. So I was like, okay, but he's a demigod, so what did the Native American gods do, if anything? And like, does this mean like because of the war, he's going there to help people, or is he going there just to help himself? Because he has been portrayed as a trickster, a troublemaker, and a fool, and kind of a fool, but well-intentioned. So, has he gone there to help the people in Europe, or just help himself? Tell me your thoughts on that. I really want to know. And like, oh yeah, for trivia, the lasso of Hestia, that's what lasso of truth is called in this. Now Hestia is the fire god. That's when Steve Trevor, when he told the lie, it actually started to burn him. And the film direction was oh wow, here it is, was very well placed from like the beginning of her childhood to her mother telling her the stories, and then her her in the training field, then her leaving the island, and like there's this bit. I think it was supposed to be a feminist joke. Maybe that's why no one laughed. I'm sorry. Someone told me that, and I thought it'd be appropriate. But if you are a feminist, that was just, I didn't mean anything by it. But like how she was saying that men are useful for reproduction, but not pleasure. I was like, okay, this is just kind of a talking act. Just like them talking. It's like awkward. I mean, why did I say talking act? My mind had I had a complete brain fart there. But a little awkward moment there, and like how he Steve Trevor's like wasn't like didn't really want to sleep next to her. He like, and it's like the reasons because like I guess back in that day it wouldn't be more appropriate like a man with a like an unmarried man and an unmarried woman sleeping together would be considered very inappropriate. But yeah, so which actually plays into that like the her finding an outfit to finally go in out of go like not go out of like wear instead of her battle armor I'm sure she had under the entire time. So like the number they use like 282 like I think I might be wrong about this. Heck, I might be wrong about the number, but it's like a nod to this one comic with the Wonder Woman writer. But that just may be that may just be, I don't know, a thing. So after the no man scene, after in the town, and after she flipped the tank, which was awesome. I'm sorry, I keep having brain farts. I don't know what's wrong with me today. So after she flipped the tank and pretty much like destroyed the sniper, and like the town celebrated and all that. Yeah, that little love scene. And love scenes in most movies, in most superhero movies especially, I'm like, oh my god, like, ugh. But like this, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the way it was handled. Like it wasn't like Steve was like going after her, and it wasn't like she was going after him. It just kind of happened. Like people tend to get close in traumatic situations, and there's few things more traumatic than being in a battlefield. So I found it rather believable when they like had their like love scene. So and like Steve didn't really like, and like Steve thinking about Steve Trevor's character through this, I realized like from early on he realized he couldn't stop her. That's my phone. So I'm going to use this moment to take a quick intermission. I'll finish the review in a moment. And we'll be right back after these messages. Okay, back from my intermission. The phone call was just someone who picked up and hung up. I don't know who those people and how they got my number, but whatever. So, the love scene didn't really bother me. I really thought it was nice. The death of the general, or was he a commander? No, he was a general. I thought that was really well done. Like he like inhaled that stuff and was able to more or less fight her for a little bit. Then he got sword through his chest, and she thought the war's supposed to stop right here and now. She's like, "What's going on?" And like Steve says, and like Steve's like, "We need to go. We need to stop this gas." And like she's like, "My mother was right. You don't deserve us." I'm like, "Well, calm down there, Diana. You just got here a couple days ago." And he's like, "You know what? Fine. Maybe it is the world. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's everyone." Then she says, "It's not me." He's like, "Fine, not you, but maybe everyone it's like just a little bit of corrupt. I'm like, chill down with that Wonder Woman. You just stabbed that man in the chest. I mean, yeah, that man was a crazy evil guy, but you killed like 50 people on the way there, like the day before, and you're about to start slicing, dicing in a ballroom. Stealth is not the name of the game there. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to take another quick intermission. I'm going to put up a quote. Hope you enjoy. Two intermissions in one video. What am I trying to do here? Actually, I am trying to try a new video editing technique, but let's save that for later. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. So I found out the twist. Oh wait, this is like after, like, where was I? That's right. Like, I was just saying Wonder Woman like killed 50 people, so maybe she shouldn't say I'm innocent in all this. Maybe, yeah, they were soldiers and they knew what they were signing up for and they were in the wrong. Well, when I say in the wrong, I mean the soldiers she killed enslaved the town and the general who personally wanted war to escalate. The thing about World War I is everyone's kind of to blame. It's years and years of imperialism and weapons and like this stupid idea that, hey, if we all have a bunch of weapons, no one will be willing to fight until someone was willing to fight. And then everyone had to fight. Anyway, the twist, like Ares said, I am the god of truth. In the comics, he has this line: "War is truth, the true nature of humans." And in the comics, he corrupted humans, but in the movie, like he said, they're already like this. He's like, I try my best to. He's like, I do these little peace things, but what were they called? He used an exact word for them. I'm just going to call them treaties. He's like, but in the end, I know they'll fail in all this. And I was like, very interesting. A nice twist on Ares' character. But the thing of it is, I'm curious. If he's already that powerful, did he I guess since he says he's kind of injured, he didn't want to do it alone. But like thinking about it, he could probably do it alone. You know, like if he put his mind to it, he could probably wipe out all the humans. But then I guess he would be alone. But I don't think he really cares about that. All right, the final battle. I heard a lot of people say it's messy, and yeah, in a few parts it is. Ares is like, he gets his flawed armor, and Diana realizes that she herself is a demigod, and I guess just as powerful as him, so she was able to wield Zeus's lightning and strike at him. And after the fight itself and the dialogue, I found that very interesting. The dialogue especially, Ares said, "You will help me kill all the humans or you will die by my side." I'm like, does he need to feed off her to kill all the humans, since he's at half power and she's a demigod? So I guess they're both, two halves make a whole. It's one permanently crippled god and one demigod would make one whole god, but I don't know. So he then, after Diana realizes her full power after watching Steve Trevor die, they do this thing where it's kind of interesting, where after she gets thrown, Steve kind of helps her up and tells her something, but you can't hear it at the moment. Then he runs to go away, and later finds out that he's taking the plane, flying it overhead, and then just destroying the gas, since it's instead they're using I think hydrogen. Yeah, hydrogen, and that's flammable. So he fires his gun off and it burns the gas. Which I thought, at first I was thinking, wait, if he releases that gas, I want to just float. Oh wait, no, it's hydrogen based. It'll burn. It's fine. It's fine. So after that, and after she got reinvigorated to fight, and she was able to defeat Ares. Oh yeah, after how she defeated Ares. What was it? I got it. After that, like, all the soldiers from both sides kind of walked up and hugged each other. And like, people said, "Oh, that's a weird message of love and all that." I'm like, what people don't know is like, the day World War One ended, this is what happened. Up to the hour until it was announced, people were trying to kill each other, desperately firing just trying to kill one more soldier. When it was over, they were walking across the fields, they were hugging each other, they were switching hats, they were taking pictures like they haven't seen friends in a long time. And like, that's what happened in World War One. And like, this was like, if I was a soldier there and like freaking two Greek gods out of myth and legend start freaking duking it out, and like after the end of it all, I'm still alive, I'd hug the guy right next to me, even if he was trying to kill me 10 minutes ago. But that's just me. I don't know. But my questions, well, that's my explanation for the final battle. Now, I give this movie a solid A. DC, like, they did a pretty by the numbers movie, but it's received well. Now, people complaining that movies should be unique or interesting or have more deeper meanings and all that. Well, they try that with Man of Steel, and Batman v Superman, and they should try new styles. They kind of try that with Suicide Squad, and everyone hated them. Well, not everyone. Lots of people hated them. I actually liked all three. Suicide Squad the least. I actually really enjoyed Batman vs Superman. They said the fight was like 4 minutes long. Like, well, no, duh, it was 4 minutes long. It's Superman versus Batman. I mean, realistically, it should be 10 seconds long, if not shorter. But I digress. So my questions are: where did Dr. Poison go? Was it gas, and was her god gas formula of her own creation, or did Ares give it to her? And did she write it down? Is someone else going to find it? Imagine, oh my god, imagine Nazis with that type of formula. That'd be crazy. And oh my god, I'm seriously curious if they will. I really want them to do something with that, but they might not. And also, will she even be let back into Germany, since she helped kill German high command? So, yeah, is she like a war criminal now? Will she like flee to a different country, Russia? I hope not. God, that place fell apart after World War One. Or is it during? Whenever the Russian Revolution happened. I think it was during World War One, but whatever. And my other question was Ares wrong? Like, after World War One, everyone thought this is the war to end all wars. Then World War Two happened. It battered Europe to nearly its breaking point, and then they had to be across the entire continent. Yeah, Europe's a continent. After across the entire continent, they had to like do a rebuilding effort and all this. So was Ares wrong? And like, humans are still as violent as ever. Like, not a lot of people talk about. Everyone focuses on the Germans' crimes in World War II, as they should, but no one ever mentions that Russian men raped women, and like Americans stole, and like I don't think often, but like I think some houses were ransacked. I saw a report on that somewhere. But if I'm wrong on that, please correct me. I don't think like a bunch of soldiers stole, but it happened. And my other question is, did Diana ever get home? Like, back to Themyscira? Can she even go back to Themyscira? Like, does she know the way? Because she was, like, asleep for the boat ride, so was Steve Trevor the only one who knew the way back to Themyscira? And now that she's dead, can she even go back home? But then they might do something different in the movies. Oh yeah, so my other question is like the God Killer sword, which turns out the God Killer is just other gods. When it was broken to pieces or melted, will it be fixed? Will she get a new one? Because sometimes like the God Killer sword, I think in the comics actually fixes itself. So that would be interesting to see if she can figure out how to do that. But yeah, those are most of my questions, and my thoughts on the movie. Solid A, good movie, and honestly, that's all I have for this one. I hope you enjoyed the review. I'm going to try to do these maybe once a week, but once again, I can't promise anything. This should be, by the time I'm recording this in the afternoon, but I'll probably post this in like 1 in the morning. Anyway, I hope you have a good day, and thanks for watching the video. That's all for this one. See you next time.